Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to a new Yellowjacket Season 3 theory discussion. And this one is really based heavily on something that Shauna herself said back in episode 8. It was this conversation with Melissa that has certainly been hyped up in a lot of promos for this show as well, where she basically says that in order to feel safe within this world, you have to be the last one standing. And with that in mind, it's time we ask the question, who will be the last one standing?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we have seen a lot of the Yellowjackets in the present are now dead, and we're gearing up for this finale where it's kind of like it feels like we're probably maybe going to lose somebody else as well.
There's a legitimately good chance, and it is very weird to think that much about it because at this point, like, we'll talk hypotheticals a little later about whether or not some other people from the past could still be alive.
Yes.
But in terms of the main characters, we have Ty, Shauna, Misty, Melissa.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, we have lost quite a few of the Yellowjackets in the present. I know that they've given a number of the people who have survived, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the show can't decide to change things the way that they want. I think that there are more people in the present.
Yeah, and I think that there have also probably been things that they have already changed on this show from what they once may have planned. So I think everything involving how many survivors they are, like, that's all fluid, and things can change and evolve at any given moment. But we want to hear at least lay out the case as to why some of these characters might be the last one standing. What's motivating them at this point? Because I think in particular, the events of these last couple episodes are going to fundamentally change probably how a lot of these women are thinking and feeling.
Absolutely.
Before we go any further here, though, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we will be here after the season 3 finale to break everything down. What happens if somebody else gets killed off? But in addition to that, what a crazy time here at the channel. Like, this week we have the premiere of The Handmaid's Tale, and also The Last of Us season 2 is finally coming back. And of course, if you guys have Showtime and Paramount Plus, Dexter Resurrection is coming this summer, and we're going to be back to break down all of that just like we did Original Sin earlier this year.
Absolutely. And if you want to support us further, follow us over on our Patreon. Over there, we are covering The Pit, and we are covering Bosch Legacy exclusively over there. It's the only place you can get those reviews. But we are going to be putting up a poll for a few shows for our Patreons to choose from of what we will be covering over there exclusively next. So join us over there for those discussions. And thank you to everyone who has joined and is supporting us here at the channel.
Thank you, guys. We really, really appreciate that.
Okay, so who do I think is not going to be the last one standing?
Yeah.
Shauna. I think Shauna is absolutely going to be dead by the end of this series. It's not last one standing by the finale. It's the last one standing by the end of this series. I do not think that Shauna is going to make it out of this alive. And I think for a lot of people out there, especially after this season with Shauna, I feel like that would be kind of a disappointment if she is the last one that is standing. People have really turned on her.
They have turned on her, and I have something to say to all those people right now. I get it. I understand because
But
Shauna,
can there be a redemption arc for her?
This is the thing, is that Shauna is a bit of a tragic figure in a way because she went through so much, especially in the first season or two of this show, in between what happened with her baby, also Jackie, all the sort of unresolved tension and feelings, and however you want to describe that relationship, that I think she's been haunted by those things. And I think that she kind of pushed a lot of her grief and pain down and just let this aggression take over. I mean, I don't think she is incapable of turning things around, but I think it's also going to be really difficult. And I think the interesting case of her as a potential last person standing is, obviously she said the line that we're basing this whole video around. So it's like she obviously knows all of this already, and it could cause her to go on this real violent tear of taking out all these people. But at the same time, she also has something that at least, not all of the Yellow Jackets have, but some of them certainly do, like Ty, like Melissa, is that she has other people that she does have to think about. And, Callie and Jeff are so intrinsically tied to her story in a lot of ways that those could be the things that do kind of keep her from going full, I'm going to kill everyone all the time.
Listen, we can't have a Cali Yellow Jackets new generation spinoff if Shauna is still alive. It just won't work. So I feel like she's got to go.
I think she's going to go, but I do also think that Shauna is probably going to not be the last one standing, but maybe one of the last couple standing, because
Yes.
Melanie Linsky has been around since the very beginning. I kind of feel like they're going to do something where if she goes, maybe she goes in like the second to last episode of the show or the series finale. It would just be too weird to not have her be a part of this show long term.
It would be, but I mean, there are a lot of shows out there that have killed off main characters and continued on for a couple more seasons and were still as good. I mean, we lost Natalie last season, who was a huge star, big, presence on the show, which I have definitely felt missing. And I know there were circumstances with that allegedly out there that Juliette Lewis had wanted to leave the show, and so they chose to do what they did. But just the same, for the story and the show, the impact was huge watching that happen for me. So would they kill her off maybe even in end of season 4? Yeah, I think so. I mean, we don't know how long the show is going to go on for, but too many times now there's been like, this is the star of the show and they're always protected. And then now in this sort of new era of TV, that does not seem to be the case anymore.
I think one thing that Yellowjackets does benefit from, and as delusional as I might be that it's got to be like Shauna's going to stay to the end, we do have a show here that has, Christina Ricci, who has been a big name for decades.
Huge.
And yeah, there's other people that could carry the show, and they're just bringing on here, Hilary Swank, somebody who has been in the Oscar circuit. But this is a good transition, though, to talk a little bit about Melissa, because, my big picture thing is that, no, she's not going to be the last person standing, just because it would be such a disappointment that it's somebody who just turns up at the end of season 3 in the present, who we didn't even know was around in the present, who we were told was dead in the present not that long before that she, out of everyone, is going to be the last person there. I just don't buy it, and I just don't think it would be good for the show or for entertainment.
I think it depends on if you buy into the wilderness aspect of it, because to me, my tinfoil hat is she has still been practicing the wilderness, that she thinks that she has everything she has because she has still been sacrificing for the wilderness. So if you are a fan that's like, yeah, the wilderness chooses, and I feel like whoever is down with the wilderness is going to be the last person standing, then that is probably going to be Melissa. You have a huge named actress. If you do still have another 1 or 2 seasons, there could be enough buildup at that point. And let's say we have Hilary Swank for all of next season, that we could build up to a point that we're all rooting for her, even though I've seen that there are a lot of people out there that are definitely not rooting for her.
Okay, I'm going to go along with some things that you're saying, because I've thought a lot about Melissa the past few days, because I've been kind of trying to figure out, okay, why now? Because it's been my biggest issue with this whole Melissa story this whole time. Like, is it her therapist? Is there somebody else that's causing her to suddenly go through all of this? And I think this is kind of what I've landed on, is that kind of like what you're saying, she's been practicing the wilderness to some degree in secret, even after faking her death. But we think back to season 1, we lose Travis at that point. We think back to season 2, and you went into what happened with Natalie at that point. These Yellow Jackets, they are like pseudo celebrities, even though they try to pretend that they're not. Like, these are the people who are part of headlines for so many years. It's not crazy to think that, of course, secretly Melissa's probably been looking up and doing some research on them. And I think once she started to see that these other people were dying, I think that her looking into the wilderness and accepting it and following it started to become even more severe than it was. Like, these things that she was probably trying to repress on some level are starting to become more and more overt. And this leads perhaps to the tape. This leads perhaps to her being a little bit more bold, a little bit more direct, that Shauna's going to confront her. She's going to see what happens. And then those impulses start to take over. But the moment that Shauna says what she did about the last person standing, I think that really awakens something in Melissa where she is just like, oh, I really have to do this. The wilderness has caused these deaths. It's brought us back together. This is my time. In order to preserve the secrets and the family that I have to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, and we don't know her involvement. We know her involvement with Van, but we don't know
Yeah.
if she's involved with Lottie. I don't think she is.
Yeah.
But who knows what sort of role she's played in any of these deaths, whether it's sending a letter or sending something else to anyone else. We don't know. That could be a big reveal that comes out that's like, oh, Melissa actually has had a little bit of a hand in a lot of these different things that hasn't come out until now.
Yeah, and that would be a really smart way for her to operate, depending on, how long that had been a potential MO for her, which is if I operate in secret and I can get other people to do my dirty work for me in an effort to be the
Right.
last person standing, that's perfect because it'll be less people tracking me down and looking at me. Like, obviously, at this point, we've reached a point of no return for that. But before this season, anything was possible, or really before even the tape gets sent. Like, the big problem Melissa faces right now in this quest to be the last person standing is that you just killed Van, and you think that Ty is not going to have something to say or do as a result of that.
Well, here's the thing, too, that none of them seem to be processing at all is the idea that the wilderness doesn't stop.
Yeah.
So if the wilderness wants the Yellowjackets and wants their souls, there is no last one standing. It
Yeah.
will take everybody. There is no ultimate queen. The queen is the wilderness, and they will take everybody.
I think they're just so delusional in a way that they feel like, okay, if I'm the last one, there's nobody else around that can do something to me. When in reality, we know that there have been other people out in the wilderness before. They're not the first people to ever
No.
stumble upon that. There could be somebody else who stumbles upon it later. They have too myopic a lens that they're viewing all this through.
Yeah, this is like Final Destination in some ways, where it's like, oh, you
Yeah.
were supposed to die in this crash, but you didn't, so we're still coming for you. We're still coming for your life. You're still going to die.
Yeah, and so it's just sort of like, even if Melissa decides she's going to go on some murder tear moving forward and try to take all the rest of these people out, like, they're going to know she's coming at this point. They're going to have an advantage. Whatever sort of benefit or way to sort of infiltrate things she had before, it's all gone now. And it's just like, I just can't see her being the last one because of that, and just because we only just started to get really a chance to know that character even this season. Like, Melissa was a pretty minor character through the first couple of seasons of this show.
Okay, let's talk about Ty as the last one standing. I
Yeah.
feel like eventually we should probably get some sort of revenge on Melissa, and that she will be the person to take Melissa out. If not, it is not satisfying. It is
Yeah.
the only road that they can take, or I will be upset.
I will be upset too. And this is where I'm kind of getting in this bizarre spot with it at this point, where, yeah, I do think that Ty is probably going to be the person who takes out Melissa eventually, and for very understandable reasons. My biggest argument against her being the last one standing is just simply that Ty does not always have control of herself. Now, it seems like Van, in a way, was able to bring the good Ty back, and we have some of that going on now. But does this mean that bad Ty is going to be gone forever? It's just a really big risk to take, to sit here and be like, okay, everything is going to be stable and hunky-dory and all that moving forward. Because Dark Ty was doing some bad stuff in season 1 when Van wasn't even around.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think now that good Ty is here, she is not someone that wants to kill or be involved in that, and it's very difficult for her. But I think that if her other side is triggered back, that then she is capable of taking out everybody, and she is capable of being the last one standing.
Yeah, I think there's at least a chance that Ty ends this show as the last one on top. I would say, out of the people we've talked about so far, I'm more confident, if her good side can remain her good side, that she will make it over Melissa, that she will make it over Shauna, just because as brutal as the Yellowjackets can be, and yeah, it can be very, very brutal. I don't think they're gonna want an ending to this show that is just like full on depressing and sad, because then it's sort of a feeling of, well, what was really the point of all of this then?
Let's talk about Misty, who will be the last one standing. This is
Okay, all right.
who I've been saying this throughout the season. I think
Yeah,
she will be the last one standing. And one of the reasons why, like, I could see her killing off Shauna, probably. They've been having some beef. But
yeah,
so far, the most she's done is locked her in a freezer.
yeah.
So, I don't know. The thing about Misty is that a lot of her motivation of what she's been doing in the past and in the present is to be included with the group of women.
Yeah.
She wants them as friends. She thinks that they're friends. She thinks that they're bonded by what happened. And she's kind of right in that way. They may not love Misty, but they are bonded in that way. I just don't think that she is connected in the to the wilderness in the way that some of the other ones are, in like survival, or I need to do this to get something else. Like, she seems to be more in the frame of mind of anyone who's going to come in between me and the Yellowjackets, they're going to get got. Goodbye, Walter, goodbye, everybody, but don't touch my friends. So I just don't think that she's going to go after them, but I think they will go after each other, and that will make her the last one standing.
I've been on a journey with Misty. I've made this very, very clear, because you can delete this from your brain after I say it, but for a long time I thought Van was going to be the last one standing, and I think it's pretty
I
clear
think
that
a lot of us did.
not the case anymore. I think that's a pretty big rut row at this point, but I am now on board with your whole Misty idea, and it is for a number of different reasons. It's, for starters, I'm very biased towards Christina Ricci. I love her. I want her to be on the show for as long as humanly possible. So, like, I'm admitting that that's a part of it, but it's also just, I really like the Misty character, and I think a lot of it just comes from my sentiment, my past, and probably a lot of people out there, where I didn't feel accepted. I didn't feel like I had a lot of friends at certain parts of my life, and I was desperate to be included. Like, I had this real personality trait, especially in high school, where I would sort of go along with what anyone else liked, because then it made me feel like I was a part of something. But in doing that, I never really felt like I fit in anywhere. But I think I'm kind of like Misty in that sort of way. So I want to root for her. I understand her insecurity in a way that I don't understand everybody else. And yeah, I know Misty's done some bad things. I
They
know
all have.
Misty deliberately kept everybody in the wilderness for a very long time.
Mhm.
Like, she is far from innocent in anything, but you did spell this out, that I don't think that Misty would try to take out the other Yellowjackets intentionally. Like, she wants to be a part of them. She does not want to murder them. And I think no matter what happens around everything the next season or so, I just have a hard time believing that's going to change.
Yeah, I just don't think that it is going to change. We've seen her as a teen and now as an adult still carrying around that insecurity and wanting to be accepted by this particular group. It's not just wanting to be accepted by anyone, because Walter accepts her completely, seemingly, that he's just like, anything you want. I'll bathe your bird. I'll do whatever you want just to be near you. It's not about that. It's about this particular group of women, that what they went through as girls, as teenagers, bonded them and bonded Misty to them in a way that some of them weren't necessarily bonded to each other, but it bonded her in that way, that now as an adult, she is protective of this group.
She is very protective of this group. And it all kind of goes into this question of, okay, does the wilderness even really exist? And is the reason that Misty is the last one standing because she doesn't buy into all this wilderness stuff? She's not getting obsessed about it. She's not
No.
actively thinking about it. And because of all of that, she might be able to survive in a weird way, even if she has her own other obsession. It's just the idea that you believe the wilderness in itself is almost as dangerous as the wilderness, and that you constantly think something bad is going to happen to you. It's sort of like you go around in life with a dark cloud over you, being like, oh boy, it's just going to rain on me today. Well, then of course it's going to rain on you if you think it's going to rain on you. It's just that mindset. And the difference between Misty and the other Yellowjackets may just be the very thing that it saves her. And it's not because of the wilderness, it's just because of who she is and what she's prioritizing.
Okay, is the wilderness going to be the last one standing? Because, like I said earlier, the wilderness is choosing all of them
Yeah.
and has chosen all of them. So, is that really going to be the last one standing? That no one is protected? Because if the wilderness continuously wants people to be sacrificed, then there will be no last one standing because the wilderness will take you too.
The only way I'll be okay with that ending is if we are in a situation where after everybody dies, people like Callie, like Jeff, like maybe even Walter, though I have a lot of trust issues with Walter, I will probably never fully believe in him. But whether these characters can actually take something from all this and live some sort of better life. If everybody's just
Next
dead,
generation,
next generation,
spinoff.
whatever it is, as long as it's not just, well, everybody's dead now, let's just all be sad and then the credits roll. Like that, I will not be happy with that. I'm just making that clear.
Listen, if it is the wilderness that's the last one standing, then I feel like right before the credits roll, we're just going to get trees and wind and then credits.
Okay, you know what that is? That is The Departed putting a mouse on the screen before the end of it, because that I cannot explain how mad the end of The Departed. I know everybody loves Scorsese, but it's just like that took away like 90% of that movie for me. I was angry about
agree.
that for weeks. But this is a really interesting discussion. It's a long-term discussion, obviously,
Yes.
for Yellowjackets. Like you said, we don't know how long this show is going to end up going for. I'm hoping for 5 seasons. That seems to be something that makes sense creatively for the team, but we'll wait and see. But for now, what do you guys think is going to happen here long term? Who do you think is the last one standing? Is it no one? Is it one character? Is it multiple characters? Also, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our coverage of The Handmaid's Tale, The Last of Us, Dexter Resurrection down the road, and support us further by joining our Patreon. We have exclusive video coverage there of The Pit, Bosch Legacy. That link is in the description. Thank you so much. We will see you here next time.